Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Today we have another solo episode, and I wanted to do a solo episode on something that I think is absolutely critical for every single realtor, every single entrepreneur, every single business owner. This is what you need to focus on, especially when you're starting out. And don't worry, it's not too late if you have not focused on this throughout the duration of your career, but now is the time to really get intentional. So today we are going to talk about the power of building a database, or what I like to call a data bank, and the 5 critical steps to make sure that you're building a database that is going to pay you for years and years to come. So one of the things that I noticed quickly when I got in the business and I went full time in 2017, and then I had the opportunity to be able to jump right into a leadership role. And I really was honored because I got to coach and consult with agents that were much more tenured in the business. And even though I was doing a lot of production pretty quickly when I got into the business, I didn't have that longevity yet. I didn't have the years in. And the one thing that stood out to me was that a lot of people never built a database. So the other thing that stood out to me was a lot of people never bought property. And I've talked about this before. And the decision that I made was I was not going to make those same 2 mistakes, because I think that in the market that we're currently in right now, this is a reason why many people have been exposed. Many folks are struggling because they have to start every single month, every single day, and especially every single year over and over again. And I personally cannot think of a worse existence than to have to start every single year from square one, because you're not communicating and you're not cultivating and you're not really pulling those referrals out, letting people know that you care about them, and most importantly, staying in touch. So let's jump right in, okay? Um, what I think we're first going to talk about is number one is surrender. So surrender is a strong term, right? And a lot of people may be wondering, why is he talking about surrender? So the reason I'm talking about surrender is because you have to surrender to the fact that you must adopt this mentality, that you have to build this, right? It's not just going to happen magically for you. A lot of people tell me, well, I have everybody in my phone, or I have everybody written down, or maybe I have them on an Excel spreadsheet. That's great for like 1995, but we're in 2023 right now, heading into 2024. You have to have this stuff on automation. You have to have it on autopilot. And more importantly, you have to really be focused on the growth of your database. So what I want you guys to do is take a second to reflect and ask yourself if you have really been intentional about how you're going to go about growing your database. And if not, just give in to the fact that this is your opportunity to double and triple and quadruple your income if you really focus on this. The other cool thing is that, let's say down the road you ever decide to go a different direction, or you ever decide to diversify, get another stream of income going. Maybe it's in a vertical that's complementary to real estate or mortgage or whatever business that you're in, and you're listening to this now. The great thing is you already have all the people in a system, ideally in a highly functional CRM, that then you can cross market to and you can go back to and start to promote, tell people what you're up to, and check in with. So the second thing is you have to focus on your VIPs, okay? Your VIPs are the people that have the highest likelihood to refer you on a frequent basis. So if you don't know who these people are now, these people are most likely the ones that are your cheerleaders, the ones that are constantly liking and commenting on your post and really showing you some love. So I think your first step should be to identify those 25, those 50, those 100 people that are your cheerleaders and that are there to root you on, because those are the people that are most likely to refer you on a frequent basis. So the next is tags. So tags are absolutely critical when building a database, okay? Now, many people may be asking, well, what are tags? Or how do I go about tagging appropriately? That's a great question. So the way that I do it is I like to call people either cold, warm, or hot, okay? This is when they're in the sales cycle. Now, obviously, if somebody is a family member, a friend, a past client, they're going to have a different tag, and that tag will be just that: family member, friend, past client. But the people that are in your sales cycle are the ones that you need to identify the temperature of the person and their likelihood to transact in the coming weeks or the coming months. Some people like to go with an ABC method. I personally like the cold, warm, hot, because it keeps everything top of mind to me when I know who do I really need to follow up with in order to convert them over into the sales cycle and get them across the finish line. Then the beautiful thing is that person then becomes a past client or somebody that's in my sphere of influence, or my COI, some people like to call it. The next is you're going to do a social media and LinkedIn scrub, okay? Something we've talked about before is omnipresence. You need to be omnipresent in the current environment that we're in the current market that we're in. People need to hear you. They need to see you. They need to know that you're still active in the business. This is another huge mistake that a lot of people make, is they want to be an undercover entrepreneur, an undercover agent, an undercover business owner. You need to self-promote, and you need to make sure that you're visible to the people that are in your networks. So once you've accomplished the VIP task, your next step is going to be to go and make sure you're connected with everybody on the social channels. Now, one thing that I was taught is to take this a step further. And when people are liking or commenting or sharing your content, you should take it one step further, and you should reach out to them. You should thank them for commenting, ask if there's anything that you can do to help them. The next is you are going to decide, okay? We talk a lot on this podcast about making decisions, about making commitments. What I want you guys to do is I want you to decide what is the frequency and the cadence of communication. What I mean by that is, how frequently are you going to touch these people? Now, I don't mean actually touch them, but what I do mean is, how frequently are you going to reach out? Are you going to check in? Are you going to ask to go to coffee? Are you going to send them a mailing? Are you going to send out an email newsletter? So make that decision and make sure you stick to it, because there's no sense in building a database, taking the time, the effort to get everything into a CRM, get it organized, get it looking pretty, if you're not going to do anything with it, okay? So now that we have dropped all the limiting beliefs, and I know that you guys have, now it's time to put the accountability and the metrics into place. So there's a very simple method that I teach and that I coach to, and I think it's really going to help to make it a lot easier for you. So it's a very simple exercise. How many people are you adding to the database on a monthly and a quarterly basis? It's not rocket science, I promise. But what I do assure you is that it works, okay? Because what happens is, if you're not measuring a goal or you're not measuring the scoreboard, you never know if you're progressing to where you want to go. So now is the perfect time of the year to do this. This episode is going to drop in November. We're about 6 to 8 weeks away from the beginning of a new year. So if you have 500 people in a database right now, well, maybe you need to get to 800. Maybe you need to get to 1,500. Maybe you need to go to 3,000, right? But what I can tell you is, it's not going to happen without you getting intentional about moving the needle and getting to the point of a really robust database that's going to pay you for years and years to come. So the last thing that I will say on this, guys, is don't overcomplicate this, okay? Another thing that I've seen a lot of people do is they want the latest, they want the greatest, but then they actually never do anything. I wish that I knew what the stat was of how many people pay for CRMs and databases that never even log in. I'm sure it's absurd. So don't overcomplicate this, okay? Just remember that this is the difference. This is like the little spread between where you are today and where you want to go in the future. So just commit, make a decision. This is going to be the year that you either start your database, or you get it organized, or you really blow it up and you get ready to increase your business, because this is the ultimate indicator of the growth and the longevity and health of your business. So that's it for today, guys. As always, reach out to me, please. If you need anything, I'm here to help and support you. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, and make sure you subscribe. All right. Talk to you soon.